Well, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. Today I thought I'd talk to you all a little bit about MREs. MREs come in a variety of different styles. This is what I call old school style. It comes in a dark plastic wrapper. This is actually a second generation MRE when they started adding things like Tabasco sauce. This is a second generation MRE. We started making them in a more tan color because we're spending a lot more time in the desert, and there are newer versions even than these, but they look basically the same. And then this is a civilian version of the MRE, and although it's similar and it comes packaged in a similar shape, it's not exactly the same. But it's good enough, and you can buy these to eat with. Now, I was recently talking to somebody on my board about storing MREs, and he was interested in doing it, and I figured I'd let you learn from my experiences. Way back in the day, when I was a young second lieutenant, they used to sell MREs like this in the commissary. You could buy them by the case, 12 to a case, and they were, not that expensive. And so my wife and I bought a couple cases at the commissary just to put aside for emergency food. And then later, as my military career progressed, I got to a unit where we deployed to the field a lot, and they issued us 3 MREs a day every time, for every day that we were going to be in the field. But actually, when we were in the field, we would only eat 1 MRE a day. And so we would start out before we went with cases of MREs in the team room, and of course we weren't going to take them all, and so we would take what we wanted and then the rest would come home. And so eventually and we paid for those. They deducted the cost of those meals from our pay, even though we didn't eat them in the field. And so I eventually ended up with quite a lot of MREs, a pallet full of MREs, and I really violated one of the basic rules of food storage, which is stock what you eat what you stock, and rotate. It's hard to rotate food that you don't normally eat. For a while, we would eat MREs every Wednesday night for supper, and my men would tease me, and they would say it was a civilian food appreciation night at the Fox household. But we never did eat all those MREs, and so I have a whole lot of MREs like this that are quite old. And here's the deal on MREs. If you store them at a cool temperature, 40 to 50 degrees, the military says that they will last about 7 years. I suspect they will last longer than 7 years. But again, that's if you store them in pretty decent conditions. My MREs have been stored probably as high as 120 degrees in my garage, down to well below zero, constantly fluctuating temperatures, which is terrible for your food storage. And so I recommend, if you want to get MREs, use them. You can put them in a bob. They're good for bob food. They're calorie dense. But make sure you rotate through them and make sure you use them up. Don't use MREs for your long-term, or I would say even medium-term food storage plan, because they're just going to sit there and eventually they're going to go bad. Now, here's another thing. When you take an MRE like this, there is a lot of wasted packaging in this MRE. This thing's made tough. You can throw this out of an airplane, it can fall to the ground, it's not going to burst open, then we could cut it open and still have food. They're made, they're bomb-proof. But when you're going to the field, you have a lot of things you have to carry, whether you're a civilian carrying your bob or backpack, or you're a military guy and you're carrying ammo and batteries and communications gear and what else you need to carry. So we want to reduce the weight and we want to reduce the bulk. And I'm going to show you how we would do that. Also, this one is menu number 13, pork with rice, and I don't eat swine, so there you go. Now, there's a couple cool tricks you can do, and maybe you can learn from mine. One thing is, when we go to open this MRE, let's just go ahead and start and cut it right down the middle. So we'll cut here, and then we'll just cut along the side here, like this. And basically what we're going to do is cut this bag in half. Cut away from myself. Instead of just opening it at the end. There we go. Alright. There we go. Let's see what we have in here. This is how your MRE comes packed, like this. We have applesauce. We have a nice big spoon. We have an accessories pack. Now see, these used to be dark green and come with things, but it has in it some drink mix, toilet paper, chiclets. The best thing they ever put in MREs, a little bottle of Tabasco sauce, some iodized salt, and some matches. This looks like cocoa powder. Nope, this is beverage-based powder orange flavor, so we have 2 beverage-based powders. We have a pack of crackers. We have a really important nutrition, a force multiplier sheet, like everyone wants to read that in the field. We have some peanut butter. We have these little heaters that you just add water to and it heats up your MRE, but you know what, when you're in the field, you can't afford that. And then we have the all-important pork with rice in barbecue sauce, smoked flavoring added. So here's what you do. First thing we do is we take this little heater here, we throw it away. We're not taking that. We take this, we throw it away. We're not taking that. We look in here and we say, you know what? I'm not taking everything in my accessories packet, so we cut this open. And we say, don't need that. We need this. That's Tabasco sauce. This is iced tea mix. Some guys take it, some guys don't. Whoop, there you go. A moist towelette. No, thank you. Salt. I take for maybe if we're going for about 4 or 5 days, I'll take like 1 or 2 of these. But for this meal, nope. Cream substitute. I don't use it in my coffee, so that goes. Yeah, I know you can mix things with your sugar and your cream substitute. Hey, that's where we got ripped off here. Where's my sugar? These things used to come with a sugar packet, and that one didn't. See, communists are in charge of making that one. I used to save my sugar because I'd put it in my coffee. I don't normally, but when I was in the field I did. Matches, don't need them. I have a lighter. I have a couple. Chiclets, absolutely. We like the chiclets. Toilet paper, no. I carry in the field a roll of toilet paper instead of these little things, so I don't need that. So I just reduced that bulk. I should probably save that stuff so I can show you the pile of what I reduced. The spoon, you don't take every spoon that you're going to the field with. And I tell you what, I hate these big spoons. They made these spoons because, let me show you this. Here's the pork and rice. I'll start saving my trash so I can show you how much space we're going to save here. Okay, the pork and rice, we don't need this cardboard container. The pork and rice comes in a container like this, and you'll notice there's 2 little notches here, so you can rip it across the top and rip it across the top this way. And they give you this big spoon because they used to give you, there we go, a spoon just like this, or very similar to this one. Back here. They used to give you a spoon about this big. It didn't look quite like this. You guys remember it had a wider shaped handle, and you could actually use it for a knife to spread your peanut butter with, and people who played with them in clothespins and wire used to know how to do other things with them. But it was about this big, and it would fit in your BDU pocket. Well, this spoon is too big to fit in your BDU pocket. So a lot of us back in the day used to save our old MRE spoons, and when you were done eating, you'd lick it and stick it back in your pocket, so you always had your spoon. These big ones here, some guys would break them off, but it's actually amazingly tough. So we're going to pretend I've already got a spoon in my pocket, and if I was taking 6 MREs to the field, I might take 2 extra spoons with me just in case I lost one, but we're not taking this spoon. Stand by. Alright, I picked up my trash here. We're going to start the pile of things I'm not taking in this MRE. So far I'm taking the chiclets, the hot sauce. If I was a pork eater, this pork, we'll come back to this later. And crackers, always take the crackers. Always take your peanut butter. Beverage-based powder, orange flavor. You know, I would prefer cocoa, so I'm probably not taking this. And applesauce. Yes, applesauce is goodness, but we don't need the cardboard box. And this is a weak MRE. Okay, so out of this MRE, what I'm taking is the main meal, the applesauce, the peanut butter, the crackers, the hot sauce, and the chiclets. If I was taking a spoon, I'd stick it in there. Alright, we'll pretend I am. We're going to take this bag right here, throw that half away. Now I cut it like this because if you want to, with some of your meals, you can actually use this for a bowl. If you wanted to mix your main meal in with your crackers and you crunch up your crackers, you can stir it all up in here and you can eat it out of a bowl like that if you want. But now you can see that if we put this in here like that, it takes a little bit of time, but we would do this sitting around the team room and get our stuff ready to go. These crackers, it has a big edge around it to protect it. We would fold that edge down like that to minimize space. Stick this in here. Peanut butter. Applesauce, put that next to the main meal. Chiclets and hot sauce. You always need your hot sauce. Okay, now with this, what you can do now is fold this plastic over. Take a piece of 100-mile-an-hour tape, which is just duct tape in a funny color. Fold this over, fold it closed, and tape it. Size comparison. A lot smaller. This is a meal, this is a meal, and here is the trash that I'm not taking on my operation with me, right there. That's a lot of bulk, and you know, this stuff adds up when you're taking 9 meals with you for 9 days in the bush, something like that. Just imagine this pile bigger. It's stuff we're not taking. Now, let me show you something else. And to do that, I'm going to open up this MRE, and I'll just open it at the top. You'll see an older MRE, see maybe what the differences were. Don't need this. Applesauce again. Sugar-free fruit punch drink, I wouldn't take that. Big spoon, I hate them. Here's our accessory pack, I already showed you how to deal with that. Oh, these are beautiful. This is a brownie. It's a hard, crunchy candy bar type brownie. These are delicious. Cheese spread is good, crackers are good. Hot cocoa beverage, we don't need the heater. Scalloped potatoes with swine. Okay, with ham. Now, I told you that they made this long spoon so that when people, you know, mostly people who don't really go to the field a lot, but they still get MREs to eat, they would rip the top of their thing off, and then they would want to get all the way to the bottom of their bag without getting their fingers dirty. All right, we don't do that. What you do, I used to carry this knife. This is a Gerber LST. This is a knife I talked about in another video that I actually gutted a doe with, and I went up through her rib cage with this little knife. It used to be on my keychain. I have a different knife. I used to carry this in the pen pocket of my BDU shirt right here, and I carried it for one reason, MREs. This is what we do with MREs, and how we get away with using that little spoon that we all like so much better. Squeeze it down your meal like this. And then don't slice the whole top off your MRE, because then you have another piece of trash. What we're trying to do when we're done, we want to minimize our trash, and we pack all our trash back up in this little package right here and toss it back in our ruck. You leave your trash laying around, not only is it nasty, but the enemy can find it and he can get intelligence on you, and it could compromise your mission. So try to minimize trash. And what we would do, what I would do, start right here, just poke your knife in it, and then cut across like this. And now, when you open it up, oh, doesn't that look lovely? My dog is going to like that. Alright, now you can reach down into it with the shorter size spoon. We don't need a really big spoon to get in there. That's an easier way. I only have one piece of trash when I'm done. And let me tell you, when we only ate 1 MRE a day, we would lick these puppies clean. We would take all the calories out of it. But then you fold it up, you stick it back in your original container, and it's all clean. Let me tell you something else. We would never, and I suggest that if you're in a tactical situation, you never sit down and open up everything in your MRE all at once while you're sitting on the ground and spread your food all around you, because what happens if you have to run? You know, you don't get to pick when you have to run, or you probably wouldn't be sitting around eating an MRE if you did. And so we would eat one thing at a time. And so don't open up all your food at once. You know, if you want to mix this with your crackers and put it in your little bowl, okay, maybe, but don't open up everything. It's not a gourmet dining experience. You're just trying to fuel the machine so that you can carry on and do what you needed to do. Hey, I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it useful. Just summing up, don't buy MREs for long-term storage, and if you do buy them to use in the field in your bob or something, you can save a lot of space and a lot of weight by going through them now and deciding what you really want and what you don't want in your food. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you out there.